Kirby just keeps being Kirby. There's no stopping him. You can only hope to contain him. And even that is a bad situation. He strikes again on the recruiting trail. Bulldogs have treasure trove of talent coming into Athens. I give you the breakdown on who we got, why it's important, and why other teams are just screwed. Next on Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Thanks for making us your first listen. Really appreciate that. The loyal 199 who listen all the way to third segment. We do the show for you. Daniel's not here. I am Clint. He is Daniel. I would say if he was here, we are Locked On Bulldogs. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, FanDuel.com/locked on. More on them in a moment. Today, we are talking recruits. We are talking massive recruits, both in actual size and rating and importance for the program. I sent out a tweet today that said, hey, trenches win championships. And that was proved right today on what Kirby Smart wanted to do and go get out on the recruiting trail. And he did just that. Stacey Searles also is just loving life. My goodness, Glenn Schumann is cooking. So we're going to talk about those recruits. We're going to talk about who Georgia got. And we're going to talk about why it's really bizarre. The flip that has happened. It's official. The flip is in. Alabama, we said, is not going anywhere. And they're not. But they're not going back to where they were. It's happened. Kirby has overtaken you. And there's no going back. There is no going back. We're going to talk about why that's so important because of something that Bama fans were so excited for, just thrilled outside their minds this week. And they're hot on the trail. They got a quarterback, they got an offensive tackle. But we're going to talk about why what Kirby did today means that, one, he takes things personally. He really dislikes you, USC. Like, for real. He really dislikes the Trojans. Lincoln Riley, you're a fraud, and he's out to expose you. And he's done so already. He has shoved you in a locker, currently doing so. We're going to talk about who we got, why it's important, who these young men are, and then why it's really important compared to the switch that has happened in the Sabanless era. He's trying so hard to keep them relevant, but Nick Saban can't do that. So let's start with who we got today. Committed, 5-star, first at their position, Isaiah Gibson. Now, he's an edge, 6'4", 6'5", 245, 255. If you look at this kid, Warner Robins, Georgia, we're all going to be very excited for that. We're going to say, hey, here's a kid we're keeping Georgia borders in. We're stoked. We're excited. But I just want to encourage you to look at first who this player is and then the narrative of why it's important for Georgia and who recruited him. First, let's talk about who he is. He's a monster. Just a straight up bad man monster. I can't think of another defensive end coming out of high school that is like this. We've had maybe Mpemba, maybe Micah Williams back in when he was coming out. We had very high hopes for him. But if you look at what this kid is able to do, he is stout, setting the run. He is incredible getting after the passer. But I think most impressive of all, this guy has already built into his system a Georgia mentality, right? We've talked about this before. You have to be elite of elite to make it to Georgia. You're in the top, 1% of the nation in the ability to do that. And then to start and to play, to make all SEC or make playoff runs, you're in a total different stratosphere. Gibson has that mentality, has that work ethic. He is long. He is absolutely a flat out attacker. He does not wait for the ball. He does not stop and read. He is a react. He is a ball snap. Let me go get, let me go hunter. He's exactly what Kirby wants. Offensive tackle on his way. He will shove you into an absolute meat grinder that are his concrete hands, power all the way through. You don't find a lot of power like that in the absolute, like it's a technical sled drill. I mean, you go up against the sled because you're thinking to yourself, that's it. You want to pop that thing, you want to push it in, and you want to get going. He does that in the game. It's unbelievable what he's able to do. He plays basketball. He's way athletic. He has an absolutely long, very, this is a name, Manny Lawson, back in the day, SEC outside linebacker, very long, very lean, very, very athletic, and attacks the ball, went to the Niners. I think Isaiah Gibson, coming out of USC comes into Georgia, Lincoln Riley, banging his chest, thinking how big and bad he is. Kirby says, nope, not in my house. I'm going to go get what I want. Recruiting doesn't stop. Again, we're going to talk about the third segment. We're going to talk about why recruiting is so dang important. It never stops, and how Kirby has shown that to be the case. But I think just by and large, if you look at the edge, we have plenty of talent in the edge and a lot of guys who we think are going to rotationally pull through this year at edge. But the ceiling, we've said, probably defensive line, interior is probably one of the second, maybe the second best position group on the defense this year. He fits right in to start whenever the heck he wants when he comes in. 7-foot wingspan, which is just an absolute freakish type thing. Quarterfinals in playoffs. He led them in sacks, pressures. He had 18.6 miles per hour GPS system. I mean, dude is absolutely a terror, but he also plays basketball. He's super athletic. He's super long. He's super lean. He could do it all. There's not a let's put him in third down packages. Let's have him come off the edge. Let's see where he settles. This kid just wants to play ball, and he could do that anywhere. This is a massive 5-star pickup for the Georgia Bulldogs. Isaiah Gibson comes out of USC into Georgia from our backyard. We get him. Huge get for Kirby Smart, Glenn Shubin. I'm going to talk about another recruit in the third time I get coming back, because I'm going to talk about why USC, Ohio State, Alabama are scared. And if you're an Alabama fan, I'm going to talk about why you're a joke. Stay for the third segment, because you're making illogical arguments, and it's so fun to watch. We're going to come back after these and talk all about that. But first, this. And this is, in fact, FanDuel. I talked about the Open, but FanDuel is fantastic. Daniel and I love them. It's the place that you need to go right now to love on sports and do so with a book that is good for you. We love sports. We never want to stop. Playoff winds down. We get fewer games, and sports aren't sportsing like we want them. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up any bets that I'm in the mood for. This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a bonus and a boost daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/lockedon. Start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel is official sportsbook partners of Major League Baseball. Please bet on the Braves. They're hot right now, winning 9 out of 11 games. It's fantastic to watch. And this just in, opening lines are going to come for that in Georgia games. And we are very interested in many, many games. We're going to do a whole season preview. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs and Locked On Podcasts everywhere. Not only Kirby Smart and Glenn Shubin get an edge defender to fit perfectly in a defensive scheme. And this just in this class that we're cooking up right now, I want to encourage you with something. This class right now, overall ranked is 4th. Just hold on, because you're saying to yourself, Alabama fans, I know you're all geeked up about that. You're like, yeah, you're 4th. We are 2nd. Well, hold up a second here. Because if we look at the number of commits, actually LSU is kind of crushing on the trail right now too, by the way. Brian Kelly is kind of crushing it. They got 2 5-star. Georgia has 2 5-star. Ohio State, 3 5-star, 13 4-star, 3 stars. Their average is 94.1. They have more commits. LSU, 93.7. Georgia, 93.54. Oregon, 93.29. Average per recruit. There are some things going well on the trail for Ohio State. And you might be saying to yourself, okay, Georgia, hey, get with it. Oregon, Dan Lanning, they got 9 commits. Alabama has 18 commits. Oregon has 9 commits. Georgia has 15 commits. Ohio State has 19 commits. The big ones that are still yet to come, and they're coming, just heads up, more decommits that have already been allowed to say, yeah, I'm no longer at the school. Kirby Smart loves just absolutely taking it to you when he has you in the position he wants. And right now he has the position on USC, on all these schools, and he's going to announce it, and he's going to let these kids work with him on when they want to announce. Gibson was the first one, and now we're going to see more dominoes keep on falling, possibly out of USC. Many of y'all, we told you, when players decommit from a school and commit somewhere else, don't you dare badmouth them. Don't you dare. You say, good luck, go be great. We hope you come on back. Welcome, open arms. So just keep that same energy going. Okay, now with that being said, I do want to talk about who else Georgia got this week, because we weren't done. We could talk about, again, we talked about Taylor, wide receiver, last week. I think just for sake of absolute brevity, talking about, we're going to lose a couple of dudes from this class as well. That's going to happen because of who we're bringing in. So don't sit here and say to ourselves, all these kids are fantastic. All these kids are the best in the nation. If they play somewhere else, they're trash. Well, just hold on. Just please, for the love of all that is good, hold on. We're going to lose some dudes. So keep that in the same day. But Dontrell Glover as well, interior lineman, 315, 6'2", out of Georgia as well. He's right now ranked as a 3-star. If you know anything about Kirby Smart, if you know anything about Stacey Searles, what they're able to do, his composite is a 4-star, 16th best interior lineman, 6'2", like I said, 315, had offers, Tennessee, South Carolina, Alabama, Arkansas, all the rest of them. And if you understand his game tape, you understand his game in particular, what he's trying to accomplish is he is not a weight and technique. He is a get after and go doing it. He played left tackle and had some great success in the playoffs as well. So he can move, but this guy is an absolute grinder. He does have technique. I'm not saying he's void of that, but where he absolutely hopes to continue his progression on the offensive line is finishing the drill. You talk about coaches, you hear about coaches talking about finishing the drill often. And we've seen this at Georgia. We've seen this with Solomon Kinley in particular. We've seen this with Lamont. We've seen this with dudes who are now, off in the league, still playing and playing at a high level in the interior of the offensive line, but finishing the drill, putting hands on, turning the legs, and putting a guy back into the ground, not stopping by the initial block, but finishing all the way through the block to the second level, third level, making those big gash runs happen, which we hope ETN and the rest of this very, very talented running back room, Rod Robinson and Frazier and all the rest that are coming in as freshmen and continuing to be here. ETN off after this year, but the rest are looking to be a stable. Trenches win playoff games. Trenches win SEC games. Trenches win national championship games. We've seen that. We rode that. Stetson Bennett's the best quarterback to ever play college football, which also didn't hurt too much. But you look at just the absolute size, the girth, and the finishing ability of a 4-star composite prospect, and I get very excited because what this tells me is the main thing is still the main thing with Kirby Smart. We have edge, uber talented, top in the nation, top 5 composite all the way through, regardless of position. And we're also understanding Stacey Searles likes them big, likes them mean, likes them nasty. Many of you can remember back Ben Cleveland. While he hasn't had the type of production in the NFL that we wanted, he did have a very, 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 very good career at Georgia. Very excited for what he was able to accomplish and what he went on to do. I'm very excited that other guys are in that mold. So when you look at Dontrell Glover, don't think automatically Ben Cleveland, but think somebody who is more in that ilk, more who is gonna just come in. Dylan Fairchild, we've seen him have this tenacity and have this ability as well. This is a huge get. We need to keep replenishing the line. We need to keep replenishing the defense and the offense with tackles and interior linemen. He does probably slot into that, but again, 5, 6, 7 deep on the offensive line. We've seen Kirby Smart do this. We've seen Xavier Truss bounce out left tackle, left guard, now right tackle this year. We like the ability for adaptation. We like them big. We like them who wanted to continue past the point of attack onto the second level. And that's exactly what Glover brings. Georgia, Langston Hughes High School out of Georgia. And man, you'll be excited for that one too. That one hit earlier this week. It's the second on this list because the talent, the ceiling is Glover is a good talent, but he is nowhere near Isaiah. So let's Let's give credit where credit is due. But this tells me Kirby's keeping the main thing. And again, many of you are going to come out. We want a 5-star wide receiver. Oh no, we didn't win a 5-star wide receiver. We didn't to win 2 national championships. Why should it continue to matter? Ohio State has them. We need to be like that. Old days of offense. Nope. Todd Monken busted that system. Mike Boba has busted that system. We're getting huge transfers and we're getting guys from SEC schools coming to Georgia because they want to be developed in the passing game. Kirby's keeping the main thing. He found Lad McConkey, who, by the way, just busted records for signing a deal that is incredible for a second-round wide receiver, because they saw him as a first round and they saw him and participate in minicamp. And they're like, oh, dang. Okay, we got us a good one. Please, I beg you, look at the breadth of work and look at who we have already and look who's calling the plays and look the development. Guys, this gets me excited far more. The Glovers of the world, the Isaiahs of the world get me far more excited than any wide receiver. Although I'll take the wide receiver. I'll take a George Pickens all day long. 5-star, incredibly talented guy that we snatched from somebody else. I'm going to come back after this and tell you why Alabama, Ohio State, all the rest of them are running scared. Why one team I actually think probably has the better chance. I said this before. A team not already named has a better chance to become the recruiting nightmare for Georgia because of where they're located, who they are, the coach that they have, the tradition that they have. I'm going to tell you why all of that is super, super crucial and super, super important for Georgia, and why Alabama is just shedding tears aplenty right after this. Isaiah Gibson and Glover, huge 4 or 5-star gets. Kirby has one of the best, 4th best average recruit in the nation. And we have plenty of room to add to that with many 4 5-star who are decommitting elsewhere and coming. I now want to go back and look at Alabama for a hot minute, because it's just startling to me. And this is the state of football. An Alabama fan, you're feeling like, oh, you can't get me out of your mind. Well, you have been talking for so long and you had a dynasty. Had. Past tense, no longer, not there, had a dynasty. It's not there. And so, of course, we're going to give credit where credit is due and say, yeah, you guys were dang good. You're not there anymore. Let's look at what all y'all were stoked, throwing up your hands saying, we know how to recruit still. Y'all, it's a bad day for Kalen DeBoer haters. Okay. You did so on a day when Micah Deos came out from Mobile, Alabama, 4-star offensive tackle, 6'5", 315. Ohio State, Florida, Alabama, LSU, Arkansas after him. You guys came out and you said to me, to all of us, this is why I know Kalen's still you all scared of him. Okay, really quick. 189th nationally, 21st offensive tackle ranked from Mobile, Alabama. Looks like a good prospect. I don't hate anything about him. I'm not this Micah. If you're listening, I'm not hating you. I don't like the school you're attending, and here's why. Alabama fan had convinced me for years. Tried to convince me. They didn't actually convince me because they tried to convince me. By the way, we're with the 199. Things are getting off the rail. I'm starting to rant. They tried to convince me. Hey, Georgia, you just go after the crumbs. And you should lock down your state. And tackles from your state, okay, who aren't even the top 10 of their position, who are 189th nationally, okay, good on you. Sure, we've seen this before. Okay, try to play with the big boys. That's what you told us. And now your argumentation is an in-state kid who's not even in the top 10 in his position group, who stays home, quote unquote, and you're beating your chest of how big of a get it is. Yo, it's not that hard to tell a kid from Alabama to stay in Alabama. Sorry. It's not. It's not that hard to not have a top 10 offensive tackle. He's fine recruit. Again, not blaming him. I am saying the logic that you gave me, Alabama fan, to say Kirby can't, if Kirby did this, which he did, he was doing this because he was going toe-to-toe with at that time, before he got his legs under him, the best recruiter, Nick Saban. Did you hear that? Yes, of course. But now the tides have turned, and now the argumentation that you were crapping all over is now the argumentation you're using for your own recruits. Boy, how the turntables have. Like, it's just mind-boggling to me that y'all can't see this. Be happy for him, please. Don't tell me, oh, bad day for Kalen DeBoer haters. Okay, then what you're going to tell me is, oh, no, that's not all. We got our quarterback. Russell, 4-star kid, incredible. Just won the Elite 11. I mean, just look at what he did, Elite 11. Okay. And you're going to say, well, he's just like Tua. Yeah, the guy that you had sitting on the bench, and if not for somebody else who sucked in that game, Nick Saban and company wouldn't have chosen Tua to come in and win. Like, what you're telling me is that you don't know talent when it bites you, and the talent that you do have, you're going to let ride the bench for somebody else like Milroe, and other quarterbacks are leaving, and Kalen Board knows how to develop, and you got this kid coming. Okay, 6'3", 175, 7th best quarterback, 4-star. Okay, okay, great. Is that what you're going to hang your hat on? Now, you can tell me he plays above the 4-star status. You could tell me that, which I might believe you. He's Elite 11. Okay, we've gone down the list of Elite 11 winning quarterbacks. It's not great. It's actually quite disgusting. If you win the Elite 11, it basically tells me you won't be good. That's the track record of the Elite 11. Y'all, the team that you should be worried about, Georgia fans included, is LSU. LSU has 12 commits, 2 5-star, 9 4-star, an average composite 93.71. They have 12 commits. They have plenty of room to go. And this just in, they're in LSU. People in Louisiana will stay in Louisiana for anything. That brand, and Brian Kelly has something cooking, and he knew this when he took the job. I'm more scared of LSU than I am Kalen Bohr in Alabama. Straight up. Bryce Underwood, quarterback, 5-star, best recruit. He's there. Okay. Harlan Berry, running back, 4-star. Harold, 4-star, out of Florida. Mississippi, Texas, Arkansas, 4 stars. Mississippi. Like, I'm still going down. I haven't gotten to the other ones that are in Louisiana. They're starting to now go into Mississippi, Florida. They're starting to get these 5-star kids, these running backs, these quarterbacks that are Brian Kelly and company. I'd be more scared of LSU than anybody else. I'm not scared of Ohio State because Ryan Day has shown me he can't do things with talent, and people leave that. I haven't seen many people leave LSU in the same droves as Ohio State. And you want to tell me, okay, hey, Clint, look at what Ohio State has. They have the 2nd best quarterback. They have a quarterback, Sanchez and Offord, who are just incredible, out of Alabama, out of Texas, out of Ohio, 5-star kids. Okay. I've never doubted Ohio State doesn't have the ability to have incredible quarterbacks, generational quarterbacks, and pretty stout defense, except they get punched in the teeth and they fold. Ryan Day does not have it at Ohio State, I don't think. Brian Kelly at LSU, with the resources, with the absolute loyalty that is, I mean, Texas A&M like. I'd be more scared there. But if I'm them, I'm all scared of Kirby Smart. See, I'm most scared of LSU, but they are terrified of Kirby Smart for what he was able to do on the trail this week. And they're bragging about keeping an in-state kid who's always grown up in Crimson County with a 4-star, not even top 10 in his position, home, who's got good size and good ability, but they're beating their chest over this is the recruit, and a quarterback who's not even as good as the other quarterbacks that are at other schools. They're terrified, and they're talking a big game. Good on them. They got a hot streak on the recruit. I'm not saying it's bad. It's not what it was. Kirby is the standard. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll see you next time.